within limits. There is fate or destiny for each being within limits. Those limits spring from self, the higher self. They spring from action. They spring from interrelations of each individual, each personality, with other selves or personalities, and with the whole. When we consider intelligence, manifested or unmanifested, latent or active, what Mr. Judge calls the mathematics of the soul comes into play. Wherever there is a problem, mathematics must be employed in its solution. What we are accustomed to call philosophy, religion, and psychology, and so on, are but so many efforts to devise and apply a system of mathematics to the problems of life. Mathematics is only another word to indicate the fundamental assumption of the reign of law in everything and in every circumstance and relation. There is no mathematics, no recognition of the rule of law in such words as chance, luck, accident, and miracle. They all imply the denial of order, of sequence, of correlation. They all ignore the principle of progression. They all violate the simplest conception of equity and justice. If we look with our senses or our mind or both, we will see objects and subjects which seem to be unrelated and separate. In terms of law, this merely means that we do not see the connection. If we saw the connection, there would be no problem. The known and the unknown would be seen to be one. Between force and matter, there is obviously a difference and a relation. The one could not exist without the other. So none would deny the interdependence of the kingdoms of nature, but has humanity succeeded in doing more than ascertain a few of their combinations? Between the mineral and vegetable kingdom, there exists a gap, as between the vegetable and the animal and the human. Does our science any more than our religion bridge these gaps? Has anyone we know of bridged the gap between normal and abnormal, between sanity and insanity, waking and dreaming and sleep, between birth and death? In those and many other problems, the sum total of human experience and experimentation are devoid of a mathematics and understanding of law, of self, of the facts that can in any sense be called knowledge. Many have reached the negative conclusion that the real problems of existence are insoluble, that we must at last repose on faith and skepticism. But when this outlook is examined, it implies, in the one case, that though these problems are insoluble by us, they have been solved by others upon whose authority we may safely rely. The other view implies that ignorant and limited though we are yet able to determine the possible from the impossible. In both cases, there is the same denial of progress, of any law or of progression. Do the facts, even as we are aware of them, warrant either the assumption or the conclusion of our schools and systems? What actual warrant is there for the presumption that man or any other being was ever created? That man is or ever was an animal? On the contrary, does not all that is known show clearly that man is derived from all the kingdoms of nature known to us in any degree, and from other sources beyond our range of present perception and conduct? Is not the same true of everything else known to us in any sense? All that we know, all that we experience, all that we contact tells us unmistakably that neither we nor any of the kingdoms nor any of them are at either the top or the bottom of the ladder of life and being. All alike are learners, and in one school, and the several kingdoms merely represent grades in that school. These pupils are one and all the same in kind, different only in degree. One of the most persistent and distressing problems with which the race has been inflicted is the problem of poverty. The historical period extends back roughly to the inauguration of Kali-yuga, the age we're in now, some 5,000 years ago. Krishna, who gave humanity the Bhagavad Gita as a guide through the Dark Ages, treats of this problem of want and its cure. Its cause is improper action with an eye to the fruit. Its cure is action as sacrifice to the Supreme Spirit. The first speaker read the third discourse of the Gita on the necessity of sacrifice and devotion. The taint of selfishness and personal motive poisons the hidden springs of nature. Mankind feels the reaction in sickness, pain, and premature death. The purification of motive will sweeten these hidden springs, and the burdens of disease, want, and fear will fall away, as does the darkness of night at the approach of dawn. The understanding and the application of Krishna's instructions on the right performance of action will solve every problem under the sun. We are dealing with life and living beings in all our movements and relations, and that these gods or elemental souls cannot prosper unless we nourish them as they do us. We starve them when we monopolize the planet on which we all have our beings while incarnated. Just as interference with the free circulation of the blood will cause sickness, atrophy, and death, so man's selfishness, interference with the free and reciprocal circulation of life, and the lives announced among all the kingdoms of nature, is the cause of the sickness and atrophy of nature. This condition cannot be cured by applying remedies to the surface, but only by reestablishing once again a normal and unimpeded interchange of all living units. Thank you for your attention. Now it's your turn.